If you want to know what's going on in Rockingham County government, check out Rockingham County 411. If you're interested in county governmental programs, projects, and services, don't miss Rockingham County 411. Public Information Officer Mabel Scott will share important, crucial news you can use with Rockingham County 411.
Hello and welcome to Rockingham County 411. I'm Mabel Scott, your Public Information Officer. Joining us are two assistant fire marshals for Rockingham County. We're so glad and thankful to have with us Jeremy Shelton and Melissa Joyce. Thank you. We're glad both of you are here.
We're glad to be here, Miss Mabel.
Good, good.
Thank you for having us today.
Yes, and you have lots to share with us today. Today they're going to be telling us how to get up to date and prepared for hazardous weather, and that could include all kinds of things that could happen. So the show is yours.
Good morning, everybody. We're here to talk to you today about being prepared for hazardous weather. As you know, the potential for hazardous weather is always upon us, whether it be spring, summer, fall, winter. We have the potential for high winds and floods, storms, and tornadoes from time to time have been known to hit this county. So we want to spend a little bit of time today talking to you about being informed and being prepared for hazardous weather.
And what about the first 72?
Remember, the first 72 is on you. It's your responsibility in the event of an emergency to be prepared to be self-sustained for the first 72 hours of the emergency, because it may be that long before help can reach you.
And so how do we prepare?
How do we prepare for any emergency? In this particular thing, we're talking about hazardous weather. So what can we do to prepare? There's a website that the Department of Public Safety has developed, and that website's called readync.org. And you can just type www.readync.org. And what it'll take you to is it'll take you to a website that'll have a variety of things to help you be actually prepared. It'll have on the left-hand side of the website, it'll have three big, large blue blocks. One will say plan, one will say prepared, and one will say stay informed. So what do we do to plan for an event? So if you ask me, if you say, hey, Melissa, what do our viewers need to do to plan for an event? Then I can sit here and I can say, hey, Mabel, what we need to do is we need to tell them to sit down and discuss these events. Talk to their families. What happens if we have flash floods? We know we have a lot of roads that close around here. We have flash floods in this county. What do we do? You know, let your family members know this is what we're going to do. Where are we going to go? Where will we evacuate to? What do we do when we get there? So we plan it out with our families. We make sure that our kids know what we're going to do. We've got kids that are staying at home by themselves because they're old enough to. Parents are at work. Make sure that those kids are aware of what we would do in those events if the power goes out. So the first step is going to be planning for it, having in our minds and our discussions what we've done. The next step that we would want to do is we would want to prepare for it. How do we prepare? What kinds of things do we need to do? One of the things that we can start with doing is actually building an emergency preparedness kit. If we're going to build an emergency preparedness kit, then when it goes back to just like what you ask us, what does it mean about the first 72 is on you? What that means is the government encourages us to be prepared for that first 72 hours with no power, without having access to go somewhere and get something. What can we do to do those things? What do we need to do those things? That's where the readync.org will come into place. When you go to their website, it'll tell you a number of emergencies, be it tornadoes. We've experienced those here several times in our state. We experience straight line winds, which are very similar to tornadoes. We have the effects of hurricanes. We don't live on the coast, but we feel the effects of that when we have hurricanes that are moving in our coast or moving up the coastline. We experience the winds, the rains, those types of things. So it will give us a variance of the North Carolina hazards that we can experience here, whether it be floods, winds, rains. It could be fires. We could have wildland fires here, all types of things. On that readync.gov website, It'll show you the different things. It'll give you a plan. It'll actually give you forms, documents that you can print out and fill out so that your family knows who to contact. Who would we need to go to? Where would we need to go in the event of an emergency? And then how to maintain those things. There is a really cool checkoff list that's on the website. We've got one of the little cards here. This checkoff list here will give you an idea of different things that you may want to put in an emergency preparedness kit. This is just a very basic list, and here shortly we're going to be building our own preparedness kit for your viewers. But this kit will give you a very basic idea of things that we're going to put in it, but also you can elaborate and build it even further. We started with some of the general items that you see here. We'll go through these items one by one as we're putting them in the kit shortly. But also keep in mind there's a multitude of things that we didn't bring here on the table that can vary from household. You may have seniors in a household that we maybe need to make sure we've got other things in there for. We don't address infants on this table. If we've got baby, children, we don't have diapers out here or food or formula. Those types of things are very important. A lot of our household have pets. Pets are very important in emergency situations as well. So, we'll need to adjust our preparedness kits based on what it is that we're wanting to do.
And also medicines?
Absolutely. Medicines are going to be another thing.
Okay. So what goes into this emergency preparedness kit?
Okay, so some of the things that they list on their list is, having a gallon of water per person per day.
Okay.
So while we only have 1 gallon of water sitting here on the table today, if we were building a preparedness kit for the 3 of us, we would need 1 gallon of water for each one of us for each day. And as we said earlier, 72 hours, so that's going to be 3 days. We would need approximately 9 gallons of water.
Oh, wow.
And that's for a family
Okay.
of 3. So you would adjust it based on your family.
The number of people in the family. Okay.
We would want to do non-perishable food items. We could do canned foods. We can do granola bars. There's
Yummy.
any number of snacks and foods that we could do in there to get us through, remember, 3 days. It's going to be something that you're not going to want to have to worry about cooking. I recommend, especially if you see the top of that can there, it's a pop top lid. I recommend that because then you're not having to remember to put that manual can opener in there. That's not something that we would automatically think about.
Easy to prepare.
Exactly, something that you can pop it open and eat it directly out of the can if you need it to.
Okay.
So your non-perishable food items, even something as simple as a basic first aid kit. You never know when you might need something. We've got a small one here, but you can buy them in larger sizes. So you can buy, smaller first aid kits, larger first aid kits, depending on what it is. If you've got medical conditions now, let's say that you've got a wound or you've got something that you have to keep wrapped on a normal basis, you're going to want to keep those things in there too.
Okay.
So then you would move on, depending on what it is, they recommend baby supplies. That's where you could do baby food, formula, wipes, diapers.
Lots of diapers.
Diapers, absolutely.
Diaper rash cream.
Yes.
Yeah, those types of things, powders, especially baby wipes can be a win-win on both sides, not just for the baby.
But for us too.
Yes.
Right, if we need to cleanse daily, then we can use the wipes to do a wash down. And they don't just make baby wipes, they make other wipes now, adult cleansing wipes that you can use. They're almost like a shower
Okay.
type
Towel
wipe.
it's more like a wash rag on the go.
Okay.
They're larger wet wipes, and they allow you to be able to clean up and at least freshen up when the availability of a shower is not available.
So you could use those things in there. As you see, we've got a couple of games on the table here, some dominoes, a word file, something to entertain us. We get so complacent with being able to watch TV or play on a tablet or something that we forget that we can have that quiet family time when we don't have any power.
And interact with each other.
Yes.
Exactly. Carry on conversations.
That would be fun.
It
So-
takes family time to a whole new meaning.
It does.
So flashlights, portable radios, and batteries. So here we brought a couple of different flashlights. We bought the batteries to show, keep an extra pack of batteries on hand. I'm going to let Jeremy go over this radio.
what this is, Mabel, is, and everybody should have one, this is a portable, battery-operated weather radio. So in the event of storms and bad hazardous weather, the National Weather Service is going to broadcast across this and give updates of what the storm may do and any hazards or anything that may come out. So you want to be able to keep up with that. You may not have cell service. You may not have the ability to get on the internet and see these things. So you need a way to keep up and track and know what's going on around you, because you may be sheltering in place in your basement because a bad storm's come down and there's been damage everywhere. So this is really important to keep you up to date with what the weather is doing without having to use the ability of the internet and your cell phones and things like that, because also you want to keep in consideration that you don't know when you may get power back. Well, cell phones and being on the internet and things like that, they use up a lot of power doing that. So you want to try to conserve that as much as you can. So this gives you that ability to keep up with what the weather's doing.
So when all those big smart TVs and cell phones don't work, that will be there.
Exactly right. And you should also be sure you have adequate batteries for it, extra batteries for any kind of electronic device that you're using, that, flashlights, radios and things of that nature. That way you'll be able to recharge, put new batteries in it as they wear out.
I see you have a big flashlight and a smaller one.
Yes, ma'am. That just gives you the ability of having a larger light to look around, and then with a smaller light, it allows you to have it in your pocket.
Okay.
To be able to pull out if you need something in to go into the bathroom or things like that. It's just the differences in flashlights. And having adequate lighting, and the possibility you could take this light and set it up and somewhat illuminate a room a little bit if you needed to.
Wow, y'all know all the special tricks. And what's that?
I think Mabel wants to know about this.
Yes.
This is really special here. This is what's a battery backup pack. This right here allows you to be able to charge and recharge your cell phone.
Now that's what we need.
Yep. And this also, they build these, a lot of these, there's different models, there's different prices, and there's different places that you can get them. But this does allow you, as time goes on, even if you're not using your phone still uses power.
Yes.
So this gives you the ability to maintain that emergency contact, because you never know when you're going to need to call for help, or you're going to have to notify your family members that are in other places that, hey, we're okay. Yeah. Well, if you have no cell phone or no communications capabilities at all because your battery's dead, a lot of people could be worried about you, but this does give you the ability to be able to recharge your cell phone.
So another thing that they are looking for is, in the event that we lose power, think about it, everybody now wants to use debit cards, right? Debit cards and credit cards. Right now, especially with the coronavirus, we're focusing on, if we can have less points of contact, then we worry about it. But if all of our power sources go down, are we able to use those things? Not necessarily. So we recommend having some money, having
real
some
money.
coins,
You want to have some real money to be able to go out and buy and purchase things if need be. You need fuel for a generator, everything. You've got to have a way to be able to do that.
A spare set of keys. In an emergency.
For your house
and
for your car or truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Because it's not something that, if I'm in a panic and can't find them, it's nice to know that in my kit that I know I've got something to reference back to.
You're always looking for keys anyway. But this way, you're prepared.
I'm always looking for glasses.
Yes.
I'm always having to try to find glasses. So if we can keep a pair, and even if it's when you change your prescription, or even if it's just reader glasses, if you had an emergency and you lost your glasses or they got damaged, at least you've got something to fall back on until you can get back out and get you some. They do recommend carrying some type of blanket or sleeping bag for at least each person. That way you've got something, to be clean, to, keep warm with if it's wintertime, something to at least lay your head down on. So it's to keep in mind personal care items. Lots of personal care items here just for, keeping up our general hygiene. General hygiene is very important to maintain your health.
Yeah.
Just general hygiene as it is in its whole. And also, it doesn't really show it here well, but we've got a folder here of important documents. You know, keep copies of things that you may need reference to. Maybe your credit card, maybe your Social Security card, driver's license, your insurance policy for like your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance. If we have a major emergency and we have trees that are down, and you know, if a tree comes down on someone's house or car, you don't want to be scrambling, especially if a tree comes down on your house, you know, scrambling trying to find your homeowner's policy. And, well, I know my policy is with such and such or so and so, but let me make sure that I can put my hands on a copy of it right now. Just makes it a little bit easier. And the beauty about it is on the readync.org is they've got this entire checkoff list on here. You can go there and you can modify it to meet your needs. You know, what needs, because everybody's needs are going to be different. But what we brought today is necessities for any person, but there are going to be people that need even more things on here.
I love it. I love it. And then we said, of course, add the medications.
Yes, ma'am.
And think about if seniors are going to be in your house with you, their medications, and then the babies, the diapers and baby wipes and all the things,
Right.
their baby rattles and toys and stuffed animals.
A good change of clothes also. We
Yes.
didn't bring a change of clothes, but you really need to have an extra change of clothes for each person and a good sturdy pair of shoes. You may have to, it may be a situation where roads are blocked and you may have to hike to get to a safe area out of a hazardous zone that's been affected by a tornado or
So instead
something
of
like
having
that.
on flip-flops, we need some sturdier shoes.
You need some good hiking
some
shoes.
boots. Okay, wow. So are we going to, we built the kit?
We've talked about the kit, now we're going to put the kit together.
Okay.
So we'll get up and we're going to have, we actually have a good sturdy plastic container that they recommend that you use. You want to be able to put this up, and if Miss Joyce here will hand me our nice sturdy container here.
And where can we purchase all of these types of
A
things?
lot of this stuff right here can honestly and truthfully be purchased at your local Walmart, your local good store. Some things can be purchased at Dollar General. You can purchase, you know, you don't have to spend a great deal of money doing this.
Just make sure you have
Just
what's
make
on
sure
the
you
list.
have what you need. I mean, and
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, it's no joke. These little simple items here, the little games and books, these come from the Dollar Tree. They cost $1. If they sit in this box for 5 years and never get used, you're only out a couple of dollars.
But you're prepared.
But you're prepared for them. That's exactly right. So what they recommend is you have a nice, good, sturdy container. And this particular container here is made by Action Packer, by Rubbermaid.
Rubbermaid,
You can pick these up at Walmart.
Okay.
They have a nice sturdy lid on top of them, and it has a nice locking mechanism that keeps it nice and sturdy, so that you can put this in the bottom of a closet. Now, granted, this is a small box here. They make these boxes from any size, and it may be a situation where you want to take this box and say you have 4 members in your house. So you and anybody that lives with you, well, you get one maybe a little bit bigger than this, and you say, okay, we put all this stuff in it. Well, this is Miss Mabel's box.
Okay.
And, you know,
Then
this
we
is...
do one for my husband.
And then you do one for your husband
Okay.
as well, and that
if
way...
the twins are there from out
Exactly.
of town, oh my, they'll need
I
a
mean,
whole box.
Because if you think about it, you know, your husband may like reading sports magazines or golf magazines, so you'll want to put a couple of them in there. Well, you may like reading cookbooks, or you may like doing word finds and Sudoku puzzles and things like that. So you want to put that in there. You want to cater this kind of to you.
I got you.
You know, because as we talked about medications, well, you know, if you don't have your medications in there, this box doesn't do any good. So, you know, it makes it a little bit easier. Plus, it's not, you know, you're not trying to drag out. If I tried to make one big box for a family of 4, it's going to be huge. Whereas I can take 4 small boxes and you say, okay, you and your husband, you keep it in your closet, or the kid, or you got a basement area. You put them in your basement area. You do want to put these in somewhere that's going to be, you know, secure. If you've got a basement or a closet
Substantial.
that's your meeting place, say in the
Yes.
event of hazardous weather, you know, that's where we're going to go. We're going to hide in the closet. You want to try to put them in that closet.
And so this is why we need to do all of this planning ahead
This
of
is
time.
why you want to be
I
prepared.
got you.
This
The
can-
time of the event and the aftermath of the event is not when you want to be trying to do this. You want to be doing this beforehand so that everything is in place, so when the emergency happens, you're prepared for it. You want to practice an emergency plan. In the event of a tornado, you want to have a tornado drill. Okay, we're going to have a tornado drill. Everybody go to where we're meeting place.
Okay.
That was that portion that Ms. Joyce spoke about in being, planning for the event. You want to discuss what we're going to do in this type of event. We're going to do this type of event.
Okay.
What are we going to do this type of event? And periodically, you need to practice it. Okay, everybody, we've talked about, let's go we got a tornado coming. Let's see what we're going to do. So then everybody goes. And when you do that, you do that every few months. It's a good time when you practice those drills to go ahead and pull your cake out, pull your kit out and check it and make sure things are still in good shape inside of it. If you've got canned food in there,
Make sure that
you don't want it to be out of date. You want to check it. I mean, it does have a substantial shelf life. Like this can of food right here is good to 2022, so it's good for a couple of years.
this is 21.
But you don't want your kit to get stale. In other words,
Check it every 6 months.
so you want to check it about every 6 months.
But you'll want to change it for the season change too. Think
Exactly.
about it. I don't necessarily want the same things in my summer kit as what I'm going to want in my winter kit.
Yeah.
I may want a thicker blanket in my winter kit.
And you want
So-
more.
And you can always make this fun. You talked about the twins coming in. Make it a day when the twins come in, make that when you do your drill. That way they're a part of it.
That's right.
Make it
They'll have all kinds of toys.
Make it a family
Well,
event
yes,
so they
you're
can
right.
put in it what they want to do
Yes.
for them.
But if you think about it, you made mention of that. They may want to put a bunch of toys in there, but toys is not what's going to keep you safe.
You're right.
One or two toys or something may be okay. But, their favorite stuffed animal doesn't need to go in the kit because the kit's going to be packed away. A small stuffed animal, a little wubby or whatever you may want to put in there. But
I got
the main point of this kit is to be prepared and be able to sustain yourself alone in the event of the emergency.
Let them help choose the snacks that they want, the non-perishable foods to go in there. Those would be the things to encourage them
The
to.
goldfish.
That's right.
And that's the time when it's okay because, make sure that they're getting the goldfish in there. They make the little spaghetti and meatballs and those types of things. Let them choose those little lunch buckets to stick in there for them.
Okay. So how do we pack this thing?
So basically what you want to do is you're just going to put it in there and we'll discuss it again and let everybody see. The first item that we put in there is we said our blanket. So we've got our blanket. We've got food. So we want to put our food in there and we'll pack it down in there. All right. Your water. Now you may not be able to put all the water that you need in your kit.
Okay.
So we're going to set this to the side.
Okay.
But think of an area in your house where you can store water. And it doesn't have to be gallon jugs of water. It could be bottled water. You could have, several big packs of bottled water. But just remember, if you're sitting there and the air conditioning's out and it's hot and you're trapped inside of the house and you can't get out and there's really no air moving, you're going to sweat. Well, you've got to keep replenished water or you're going to start to dehydrate and then you're going to run into a medical emergency. So that's why it's important to remember that at least a gallon of water every day for every person.
Okay, so we'll have the gallons of water over here.
Exactly.
And then we'll start packing with all
That's
of
right.
our items, our batteries.
Your spare batteries and your flashlights.
Flashlights.
Like I said, remember to have enough batteries in there
Okay.
to replace at least twice in the items that you have that are running off batteries.
And then our
Your
personal
battery pack,
products.
your personal hygiene products. And
Okay.
also remember, we didn't mention it, but be mindful of females. That's
Yes.
something that,
Yes.
that's you need to be mindful of. You may need feminine hygiene products
Yes,
inside of your
yes.
kit,
We will
especially with
certainly remember that.
young teenagers. And then, like you
Yes.
said, a few little items here that, to play games with and
Keep
to
our
keep yourselves
minds moving.
occupied. Ain't nothing no worse in the world than a small child that's bored.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Important tax documents, like we said, we discussed them. I mean, important documents, your driver's licenses, insurance policies, things like that.
What about our money?
Got to put your
Our
money and your keys in there. That's right. You want to have them in there. And spare glasses. And, be sure if you wear glasses, there's glasses for you. And if your husband wears glasses, there's glasses for him because you might not see out of his glasses and he can't see out of your glasses. All right,
Okay.
and your first aid kit. And like you said, your first aid kit, needs to be really patterned for the amount of people in your house, you know. And you can pick those up at most sports stores and things like that.
And this is so we'll know what's going on with the
That's
weather.
very important right there. And they
Okay.
actually make several different types of those. They actually make some that have hand cranks and some that have solar
I've
charges
seen the ones
on
with
those.
the hand crank.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not a bad idea too. We don't have a box of them, but just put a box of baggies in there that
Okay.
you can seal up. You know, it may be something you need to put in there that you don't want to get wet. Maybe your cell phone. You know, if you've got a leak or something and you want to use your cell phone, you can keep that safe. And then,
We put the
least of
top
all,
on.
we put the lid on it,
Okay.
we seal it up, and we put it in the closet, and we check it every 6 months.
And then we put this somewhere near it
That's
with
right.
all of our 9 bottles or 12
That's right.
bottles
That's
for
right.
what we need.
That's
This
right.
is just a wonderful way to get us prepared. And we're also going to be coming back to talk to you all more about Code Red the next time that we do another edition.
Okay.
We just want to thank Melissa Joyce and Jeremy Shelton. You all have just given us information on top of information. We are getting ready for a hazardous weather. Whatever could happen, we are going to be prepared.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Thank you for having us today,
Thank
Mabel.
you,
We
Miss
really
Mabel.
appreciate
And
We
it.
really
thank you
enjoyed it.
for bringing all of these materials. This is a big project that we can all start doing at our homes, and we need to do this project maybe every 6 months.
You want to reevaluate it every 6 months, everything that's in your kit.
Every 6 months.
Yes, ma'am.
Aren't you glad we have 2 assistant fire marshals like Miss Melissa and Mr. Jeremy who can come here and get us prepared, because we never know what's going to happen in the future. Expect the unexpected, but because of our 2 good colleagues here, we're going to be prepared for the unexpected. This is why we always say in Rockingham County, you're in a good place.